Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our daily Clues by Sam. Happy Friday to you. Hope you have a good weekend and you're doing well. We have another tricky one to play today. So, our third tricky to play for this week, but the last one wasn't that tricky. And also, Sam has mentioned in the newsletter that difficulty might fluctuate if one of the earlier puzzles of the week is harder than intended, which is perfectly fine. And I know that everybody appreciates the challenge. It doesn't matter how hard it is. We do like the harder ones, but it's always fun to play the daily puzzle. If you're new here, I'm gonna be playing and explaining the logic as I go. So if you need any help with the mechanics, hopefully I could help. And the link is in the description if you want to play for the first time. So let's start today's with Floyd telling us that only one of the two criminals neighboring Coomer is Gabe's neighbor. Okay, so Floyd, Coomer, and Gabe are all attached. And so let me. These clues are getting harder and harder to interpret. Like, they get longer, they talk in more cryptic ways every day. So, two criminals neighboring Coomer. Coomer has 5 people neighboring him. 2 of those 5 are criminals, which means 3 innocents. Floyd is one of those 3 innocents. But Coomer shares one of the criminals with Gabe, who is also Coomer's neighbor. And Coomer and Gabe share a total of 2 people, Floyd and Larry. Floyd is obviously not a criminal, so Larry has to be the criminal in this case. And now Larry says that there's only one innocent in between Betsy and Wally. So there's 3 people between Betsy and Wally. Those 3 neighbor Coomer, right? And among those 3, there's only one innocent. What does that mean? If Gabe, which is one of the 3, is an innocent, that would make Samira a criminal, right? Because there's only one innocent, so they are opposites. And it also means that the second and last criminal neighboring Coomer is here in between Betsy and Wally, so we know that Ronald is an innocent. So we get a lot of information from that one clue, and we don't need Larry's anymore or Floyd's. Now Ronald says that only one of the 6 criminals neighboring Hilda is in between Floyd and Joyce. So there's 2 people between Floyd and Joyce, and one of those 2 is gonna be a criminal. So we know now that Gabe and Hilda are opposites as well. And 6 criminals neighboring Hilda. Oh, so Hilda is one of the people in between Floyd and Joyce, which means that she cannot be the criminal. So Gabe has to be the criminal. And actually, Hilda isn't the opposite of Gabe, because she's not neighboring herself. So we don't really know what she is. So let's not jump into conclusions there. We just had to think about. That was a really tricky one. Sneaky clue. Very interesting. But it also tells us that there's 6 criminals neighboring Hilda and she has 8 neighbors total, so 2 innocents. Gabe now says there's an odd number of innocents to the right of Amy. So there's 3 people to the right of Amy. And we know that we couldn't have all 3 of them be innocents. Why is that? Although 3 isn't a number, Hilda would be neighboring all 3 people. And we just said that Hilda only has 2 innocents neighboring her, right? So at most, the other possible odd number that we have here to the right of Amy is 1. So there's only 1 innocent here to the right of Amy. Now, how do I do? Oh, we know that Samira is a criminal, is an innocent now. Sorry. Oh, and she gives us a new clue. There's only 1 innocent in between Amy and Evie. So, same thing we had between Floyd and Joyce, but now Hilda is not involved. So we know there's 1 innocent here who's either Betsy or Derek. So these guys are opposites. And since we just said that there's only 1 innocent to the right of Amy, that makes Evie a criminal now. And we don't need Samira's or Gabe's clue, because we have tagged Betsy and Derek, but Evie says that there is only one instant to the right of Coomer. So either Nicole or Olivia are gonna be an instant, but what that tells us, even though it doesn't tell us who it is, it tells us that the second and last instant neighbor for Hilda is right here in row 3. So Joyce is not an instant because we know about the 2 instants neighboring Hilda. They are in row 1 and row 3. Joyce says there are more instants in row 1 than row 3. Okay, so we know that each row so far has 1 instant because Betsy and Derek are opposites, as well as Nicole and Olivia. That means that the one person left in each row, how am I going to explain this? The people left in each row, which is 1 in each, have to be opposites as well. And we couldn't have, where is there more instance? In row 1. So we couldn't have a criminal here in row 1. Because now there's 3 criminals in row 1. There's no way for there to be more criminals in row 3. Because at most there could be 3 as well. So Amy has to be an instant in this situation. And we couldn't have Coomer be an instant, because if he is, then we have the same number of instants in both rows. And row 3 has to have less. So Coomer has to be a criminal. And we don't need Joyce's clue anymore. Coomer now says that only one builder has exactly 1 instant neighbor. There's 3 builders. Ume has 1 instant neighbor so far. Larry already has way more than 1. But it could be Zara that has only 1. So I can't do anything about that yet. Amy says that exactly 2 of the 6 criminals on the edges are in column C. So who are the people who are on the edge in column C? Derek and Xavier. 2 of those have to be criminals. So both Xavier and Derek have to be criminals. Derek was opposites with Betsy, so now she's an instant. And we also know from that clue that there's 6 criminals total on the edges, of which we already know about 5. So Derek, Evie, Joyce, Coomer, and Xavier. Only 1 more criminal on the edge right now at this moment. Derek says that Umer has exactly 2 instant neighbors. Where's Umer? So Umer is not the builder that has 1 instant neighbor either. Which means that, first of all, Tina and Zara are opposites because Umar has 1 instant neighbor here in row 3. So he needs 1 more here or here. And also Tina and Umar are opposites because only one of them can be the single instant neighbor for Zara, because she's the only builder with 1 instant neighbor. Now, either way, we're gonna have a criminal on one edge here, are we? Because we couldn't make... Oh, we're not gonna have a criminal on one edge here, because if we make Tina an innocent, she's gonna make both Umar and Zara criminals because she's opposites with both. And both of those builders are on the edge. So we get 1 more criminal on the edge than we should. So we know that Tina is actually a criminal, so we don't get more than we should. More criminals than we should on the edges. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Very nice logic there. I don't need Derek's clue anymore. Or this. Umar now says that there's an odd number of instances neighboring Joyce. So Joyce has 1 instant here in row 3 that we don't know who that is yet, but we know there is gonna be 1 instant. And she only has 1 more neighbor, Hilda, beyond that. If Hilda were to be an instant as well, then Joyce would end up with 2 instant neighbors, which is an even number, so Hilda has to be a criminal. And we don't need Umar's clue anymore. Hilda says there are more criminal cooks than criminal teachers. So we have 3 teachers, Ronald, Vance, and Xavier. And 3 cooks. Of the cooks, we know Nicole or Olivia, one of them is going to be an instant. and the other one's going to be a criminal, which is going to leave us with 2 criminal cooks total. So we have to have more than 2 criminal, or we have to have less than 2 criminal teachers. And so far we already have 1 criminal teacher. So we couldn't have any more. That makes Vance an innocent. Vance now says there are 11 criminals total on the home board. So how many do we have? Oh, we know that Olivia and Wally are opposites now, right? Because we need only 1 more criminal on the edge. So we have 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 criminals. To make 11, we need 2 more. But the thing is, can we make 2 more? We can if Olivia is an innocent because she's opposites with both Nicole and Wally. But if she is a criminal, then we don't get 11 innocents because both Nicole and Wally will be innocents and there's not enough people left on the board to make 1 more criminal. So Olivia has to be an innocent. I almost tricked myself there because I did the scenario that was false after I did the true scenario. And that's when I catch myself going with the wrong option because I tried to explain the wrong option and I just press the option that's in the tag that I'm seeing. So I don't recommend you do that. I'm doing that because I want to show you the scenario visually before I do the guess. But yeah, I didn't get it wrong, so that was really nice. I did enjoy this one today. Wow, a shorter percentage for today, which is very interesting because I didn't find this really hard either. Like yesterday's wasn't really hard, so maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I'm sick again. I hope you can't hear it in my voice, but I'm really stuffy. 2026 is just beating my ass, guys. I'm sorry. But I'll leave you guys here for today. Thank you for coming along with me. I appreciate you all. Leave a comment if you want to on how your game was. And I'll see you tomorrow for more Goals by Sam. Bye bye.